Hey, Exoticals, it's your girl back with another Exotical rant. You know what I was thinking about? You really want to know? I was thinking about another cautionary tale. Okay, so if you're sensitive, you might want to log off because this is kind of extreme. Let's get right into it, ladies. I was thinking about Kayla Horn, an 18-year-old young lady out of Fort Worth. She was a hairstylist, a friendly girl. When you're 18, you're just fresh faced, you're happy, go lucky. That was Kayla. People definitely describe that as Kayla. One day, a friend of hers asked her, would she want to go out? So, of course, she obliged and said, of course, I want to go out. Then they went to a club. At some point, her and that other girl met up with a group of other girls and maybe some guys. They haven't released everything yet because the case is still pending. So they met up with some other people. They went to a club. They were drinking. When they tried to go to the second club, Kayla stayed in the car. She was not feeling well. Eventually, Kayla threw up in the vehicle, unfortunately. She was not feeling well. Once the group of people came back to the vehicle, including her friend, and they noticed she threw up, one of the other girls began to, out of nowhere, got upset with her and began to punch her in the face, in the mouth, in the jaw, and kept beating her. While she was getting beat so savagely, she also noticed that the other people in that group took her phone, her money, and jewelry. After the beating, after they robbed her, then they pushed her outside of the vehicle, leaving her tumbling on the side of the road. Ladies, this is so sad, and this again happened early Sunday morning. The Fort Worth police were called near the 6600 block of Brentwood Stair Road just before 6 a.m. Yeah, so this is a really sad story. I'm just glad. I'm just going to tell you this straight up in the beginning. I'm just glad she survived this. But her bruises will linger on, hopefully not forever, but as a reminder to her to really vet friends. And like that's why I was talking about vetting friends and people close to you. And people that you entrust to do things with, that you don't bring along somebody that is in your family or a very, very close friend with. Ladies, you have to, I'm just glad Kayla survived. She has a lot of marks on her face, on her jaw, on her hands, on her body. She was robbed and they did take her money, her phone, her jewelry, but she actually still has her life. And I think that's the most important thing here. She still has her life. Her bruises, I hope they will heal. They do look severe. And I'm going to include pictures, of course, of how she looks. They look very severe. She actually made the news in Fort Worth. It's just a really sad story. She made the news in, I think it was Tarrant County. Kayla is just, and they were just basically saying Kayla's just stuck with the fact that, her trust was broken in people. And this is what we talk a lot about on Exotical rants. We talk a lot about cautionary tales. And unfortunately, a lot of the cautionary tales, they end in fatality. Luckily, in this situation, Kayla Horn's situation, it did not leave in fatality. Just a lot of hospitalization and bruising and, scratches and, puffiness. It didn't leave. They tried to take her beauty away, but they still couldn't. Even in the hospital, you can still tell she's a beautiful girl. Ladies, the information I give here is vital to your survival. A lot of women, especially when you're young, a young woman starting out, you naturally trust other women. Even if you just naturally think everybody's your friend or everybody's cool with you. This is why I literally, when I go places, I drive my own vehicle. I don't go in groups. My mom taught me this very early to not go into groups. She taught me drive your own vehicle, get your own hotel room, get your own space. You can meet people up at places, but you need to be able to leave and disengage when you feel ready to disengage and not have to wait on anybody. I am so happy that I took my mother's advice. Ladies, this is what I warn about. These girls were obviously the girl that Kayla thought was her friend that introduced her to that group of other so-called friends was not her friend. This girl, and they are right now, they're not really releasing any names because the case is still pending. But again, these girls were definitely not her friend. The girl she came with and introduced her to that group, they planned this. Was strategic. Just somebody getting sick and throwing up, you get that mad. Most of the time, I mean, this happens often. I went out when I was younger, 18, 19, and we threw up and whatnot in each other's vehicles, and we just paid to get it clean. It was not a big deal. We more so were making sure the person didn't get alcohol poisoning or was not sick into the point where they needed to be hospitalized. We were just making sure they were okay. This happens a lot when young women drink or young people drink in general, they throw up. So that was just a reason to put her hands on Kayla Horn. This wasn't that exact, like out of the ordinary for somebody to get sick while drinking. I've had this happen many times with groups of friends or a friend. They drink too much, they throw up. All you have to do is be like, hey, give me some money so we can clean this vehicle out. Or, hey, we're getting the car detailed. You owe this part. It's not that serious. Ladies, this is why I tell exoticals, especially mixed race women, biracial women, light-skinned black women, to not run in groups, especially groups of women that don't look like you. They have no compassion for you. At any moment, they can get violent. And sometimes they're even close friends and family members that have always had a vendetta against you. So you never know when the claws will come out. That's why I always suggest, if you're going out having fun, bring another family member that's a male with you, like a brother, a cousin, somebody you know that may have your back. Drive your own vehicle. I always suggest if you're going out on vacation with these women, get your own hotel room. Spend the extra money. Just save up. If you have to save up for it, it's okay. Get your own hotel room. So when you're done dealing with them or they start acting funny, you can go into your hotel room, lock the door, put your doorstop in, and put your lock on the door. And I did discuss in my other video about safety first, about where you can get those materials from. I believe you can get it from Target.com or Amazon, but Target is more just faster to get if you're in a state that has a Target. Okay, Target or Target.com. Ladies, this is what I'm talking about. This was so uncalled for that they attacked Kayla Horn. She's only 18 years old, and every picture or information I could find on her, she was smiling, she was happy. She did not expect these people to turn on her. That's why I'm be honest with you, from just me living life and seeing how, and very early on, seeing the jealousy other women have for me and other women that look like me. From early on, I knew I needed to have my own stuff and be able to control my own safety and exit and entering. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed to be able to have my own vehicle. So when I'm ready to leave, I can leave. When I'm ready to go, I can go. I had my freedom. You know, I always said, like, when I went on trips with girls, I get my own hotel room. And a lot of times these girls will get really mad. Why can't you be in the room with us? I do not like to be in a room with people where I'm not friends with everybody. I don't like to be in a car with people where I don't know everybody, because I don't know what you will or will not do. Ladies, be very, very vigilant of this, especially if you're young, college age, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, or in college right now. These are the kind of cases that happen all the time. These are the kind of cases that you have to look out for, because people are watching you. They're watching what you do, what you say, how people treat you, and they're comparing and contrasting. And if it doesn't add up in their head, in their sick head, they will attack you. I'm just glad Kayla has her life. You know what I'm saying? This young girl is in the hospital now. Her face is bubbled up. They beat the crap out of her, but they already did not like her when they met her because even if like, they already had this plan in their head. If she did anything they did not like, they already planned on what they would do with her. This is not uncommon. I've been in friend groups where I was the only pretty girl or fair skinned girl. And I didn't have pleasant experiences. So I started distancing myself from groups of women that we just were not equally yoked. And that's why I like, people sometimes think, especially us girls, we sometimes think we only have to vet men. We also have to vet friends, friends and acquaintances, that we oblige our safety to, that we get into situations with. We have to vet these people thoroughly. A lot of times because it's life or death, or they'll put you in very, very, very unpleasant situations because they feel like, your life is going too well. Let me do something. And this is what these girls did. They beat the crap out of her. They robbed her. They stole from her. They robbed her. They took her money, took her phone. Like, they took anything that, so she couldn't call for help. They took her phone. They took her money so she couldn't get home. And they took her jewelry because they were jealous. They were jealous of how good she looked, even though she was sick. These people are sick. Like, the poison is real in this society with jealousy. A lot of people are jealous, envious, and instead of work on themselves, they rather hate on you. They rather hurt you. Ladies, this game is not for the weak. And that's why I tell you, ladies, when you're going out, doing your activities, trying to have fun, have your safety plan in place. Have your, I always say bring pepper spray or whatever you feel comfortable carrying, maybe a small taser or something that will be able to assist you if you're unexpectedly attacked. Ladies, this is real life, and a lot of us girls aren't able to go home again. Fortunately, Kayla is. This has happened. Like, when I saw Kayla's story, I immediately thought about a time where I was friends with four other girls. I was only really friends with one of them. She was friends with three other girls. She knew them. They were all friends, but I was really just friends with one of them. I learned really early on we were not equally yoked. I think I was about Kayla's age, 18, 19. We would go to clubs all the time and have fun. But I soon realized we were not equally yoked as friends. They were a couple, not the friend that introduced me to them, but a lot of them were just doing a lot of weird stuff. Let me just go into it. They had kids out of wedlock. They were working low paying jobs. They weren't worried about their futures. They weren't doing anything to improve their situation. And the friend that I initially knew the friend that I had, and she eventually became a baby mama too. And that's when I decided I had to distance myself from these women. They were all unambiguous black women, dark-skinned black women. And like, they would just like, I noticed in slight ways, they would just always compare and contrast themselves to me in a way that sometimes made me feel uncomfortable. But again, I that's why I said I started to just be like, okay, we are just not equally yoked as friends. Especially when the friend I initially knew better than the rest of them got pregnant. I just knew we weren't equally yoked. She got pregnant by a guy that didn't even have a job, and she ended up getting upset with me because I was telling her, he's using you. He started trying to stay at her. She had her own place. He was trying to stay there with her and her mom. And I was like, he's using you. I was like, when I would be like, I was always at the mall. So when I would be at the mall, he was driving her vehicle, and I would be like, hey, are you at the mall? I see your car. She'd be like, oh, I'm not at the mall. That must be my boyfriend. And I'd be like, oh. And like, he was just like using her for everything that she had. And she really didn't see it because she liked him so much. Ladies, this is what I'm talking about. This story, and I saw this early on, and I talked to my mom about it, and she literally told me, like, you need to like stop going out with them. They used to drink a lot. And in one instance, like, I honestly felt unsafe. They brought me around some guys, and I felt unsafe. I don't know what was going on, but like like P's and Q's went, like, my internal gut alarm went off. The guy was trying to lure me from the party, and I had been drinking. So like, I was just like, oh, like, once he started trying to lure me away from the party, I literally just ran away from him. I literally ran away from him, and just like, I think I stood by the bartender or something, or like somebody that was working there, and I just started conversating with them, and they kind of knew I was feeling uncomfortable and started conversating back to me, and I started ignoring him, and then eventually we left. But again, like, ladies, you have to vet friends. You really do. Do not be out late. And I know when you're 18, 19, you want to stay out late, but try to avoid staying out late with friends or people that you do not know like that. Nothing ever good happens after midnight. And if you're not in a university setting or school setting, or like like if you're at a trade school or something, or like in an educational, like, if you're just not in certain settings that are safe, like school settings that are more safer, anything like this could happen and does happen. Kayla Horn was very lucky that she survived this beating, this savage beating. They beat the crap out of her. They wanted something else bad to happen to her. They wanted some weirdo to pick her up or something, but fortunately, the police were called. Ladies, when you're a beautiful woman, you're an exotical, you do not have friends like that. I'm going to be real with you, especially if they're not other exoticals. It's very hard to have long-term friends with women that don't look like you or envy you or have low self-esteem. And you'll never know until it's too late. That's why I always say that people, like in the Bible, they always say, and I'm not super religious, but I do know, like, test the fruit. Like, test the what they produce. Like, you don't know when you're meeting somebody for the first time, you don't know what their fruit are. So what you need to do as a safety precaution is always drive yourself, or take an Uber. But again, if you're going to take an Uber, you need to leave before midnight. Okay? If you're going to be on Uber, you need to leave before it gets really late. If you're going to be drinking, you need to call a family member to come pick you up. Okay? Somebody that may not get mad at you, like an aunt, a cousin. Her aunt, in Kayla's case, her aunt was on the news with her. She seemed very close to her and very protective over her. Ladies, this is the real world. People do not care about you. They don't care about your safety, your livelihood, or anything about you. This day and age we live in, it does seem like the last days. I'm not overly religious though. It does seem like it's a very weird time to be a young person. It's a very unsafe time to be a young person, especially 18, 19 and coming of age. You have to protect yourself. I am so happy Kayla is alive. Kayla Horn is alive and well. She's in the hospital. She's recovering. I am so happy. I hope every bruise on her face and her body heals without any marks. I I wish the best for her. And I'm glad I don't have to give condolences to the family in this video because it's getting old. I'm getting so tired of people intentionally targeting us. And that's why I say be on your P's and Q's. I've had so many situations where girls invite me out of town and I just get a weird vibe because I really don't know them like that, or they're getting mad because I want my own hotel room or rental car. So I've just not even went. And then when they come back, they're not even friends anymore. So I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't go. I don't need the drama. Ladies, you don't need the drama. You don't need it. Stop trying to be everybody's friend and be your own best friend. Be your own friend. Look out for yourself. That's the best friend that you're going to have is yourself. That's the best person that's going to give you wisdom, discernment, and trust is yourself. Build upon that. I know you want to have fun, but sometimes it's just not worth it when you don't know these people. It's just not worth it. I wish in this situation, I'm glad she's doing well now in the hospital, but I wish instead of wait for those girls to come back, she would have called her aunt or somebody to come, or an Uber to come get her, or somebody she trusted to come pick her up. But she didn't, and this happened, and it's not her fault. These people are evil. These people had a very demonic spirit on them, and they executed that on Kayla. Ladies, keep yourself safe. You are always gonna be your biggest and best advocate. That's just the world we live in. You have to advocate and look out for yourself. Don't expect a friend to do it, and sometimes don't even expect family to do it. You have to really read the room. And that's why a lot of people don't like me. I'm gonna be honest, girls. They don't like me because I can see right through them. I can see right through the BS. I'm the type of person, I can read people very fast. Within 5 minutes, if I'm going to deal with you or I'm not. I can read you very fast. I can see if you're authentic, if you're not, and I'll leave you alone. And people can't stand that about me. But they can't get over on me either because I'm not buddy with you. I'm not letting you get in my private space. I'm not letting you inside my home, my vehicles. I'm not doing that. So they can't get certain information that they want on me. They can't get it. But again, ladies, this is real life. Protect yourself. Be your own advocate. Do not let people, especially other girls, you can't get too comfortable with other girls like that, where you put your safety in their hands. And sometimes you're cool, you're vibing with people, you guys may be drinking or even smoking smoking sometimes, and you're just comfortable. You can't do that. You're an exotical. You're beautiful. You're one of the most beautiful women in the world. You have to treat yourself like that, like a delicate flower, like a delicate piece of silk. You have to treat yourself like that because if you don't, you'll end up in situations like this or worse. And I've seen it happen so many times that I'm just I'm kind of numb to it. And other women, when they get around me, I can tell they're intimidated by me. They're looking me up and down. Even I went out before with in-laws and I saw them staring at me, admiring me, but not with oh my God, you're not with kindness, but I saw them with envy. You know what I'm saying? Oh God, is that all your hair? And I'm like, yeah, this is all my hair. They're mad. These people get really mad at you if you take care of yourself. If you're a pretty mixed girl, you have long, pretty hair, or just really full hair, or you just look really nice and healthy. They get mad about the craziest things. Or they'll ask you, ask me if are you a size 2? Ladies, I will laugh this crap off because I'm just get a life, get yourself together, and you don't have to sit around and hate on other women. Get your own stuff together and you won't be such a bitter Betty. But ladies, this is real life, and I do these cautionary tales as a way to let you know what's going on in the world, what could happen to you, And what could happen if you're not vigilant, if you're not looking out for yourself, if you're not being your best friend, if you're not putting your safety first? And I know sometimes you're like, oh, let's all ride together. I've been there, done that. And like, I'm glad I realized before it was too late that I don't need to befriend everybody. I don't need to make everybody feel comfortable at the expense of making myself feel uncomfortable. I don't care if you get upset because I want to have my own form of transportation. I want to do things that benefit me and my safety. I can't control how you feel. All I can control is my ability to protect myself and foresee things and look at areas and places and look around and see, do I feel safe here? Do I feel like I'll thrive here? Ladies, we are some of the most beautiful women again. So the hate, the envy, the jealousy is going to come naturally for a lot of people. A lot of people will see you as a threat, even though you may have not done anything to them. You may not know them. You may not have done anything to them. But again, they see you as a threat. And in that case, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your physical, your emotional, and your things. Like these girls that attacked Kayla were so low rent. They stole her phone, her money, and jewelry. They were just really ghetto. Like they didn't have anything, so they had to steal from her as well as beat her up. They had to steal. So you got to catch this vibe from people very early on and not place yourself in these situations. And I know everybody's going to say, hey, Exotical Rants, she just wanted to have fun. I know, but you always have to put safety first. And I always say, like, if you're sick, get out of there. I've had instances. Let me tell you a quick story time, and I'm going to wrap this up, ladies, but let me tell you a quick story time. I did have a friend. I actually had, she was kind of like a mixed girl too. She wasn't really mixed, but she had a very mixed look aesthetic. Okay. She was kind of a little heavy set, but she was really beautiful. We were friends. Long story short, she ended up inviting me. I was around Kayla's age to a bowling alley, with a group of other friends, and one of the other girls was her sister. Okay, I was cool with her and her sister. Okay, long story short, she tried to introduce me to this guy, and this guy was very weird. He made me feel very uncomfortable, and she invited me there to like do a double date with her boyfriend and her sister's boyfriend. This guy was weird. He gave me a lot of bad vibes, and then to top it off, he didn't want to pay for me. I don't know what was going on with this guy, but like, you know what I did? I excused myself once I realized this guy was not a gentleman. And then he was trying to talk to me at the same time, but he didn't want to pay for me to bowl. And I'm like, everybody else is like, you asked them to bring me, because he saw me at their house before, and he had asked them to tell me to come up here and bring me. So I'm like, you told me to come up here. That would just be the gentleman. You're trying to talk to me. That would be the gentleman thing for you to do, especially the first round, pay for my bowling, since you don't want to ask them to ask me to come up here. Again, I had rode with the girls I knew, the sisters. I had rode with them. You know what I did? I excused myself. I went to the bathroom. I had my phone on me. I had a best guy friend in college. I called him. I said, "Where are you?" He said, "Everything okay?" I said, "Where are you? Can you please come pick me up?" I sent him the location, and he says, "Actually, I'm not that far. I can be there in 5 minutes." I said, "Please text me when you're out front. I'm going to leave. I feel super uncomfortable." And literally, like, he was there in like 4 minutes. He texted me. I started walking toward the door. The guy ran up to me. "What's going on? Are you leaving?" Okay. I ignored him. And then the friend that I came with, she came up to me, was like, are you leaving?" And I was like, "Yes, I feel super uncomfortable. I don't think he's ready to date anybody." And I was like, "Okay, I'll call you later." And I left. I did not give them time to like try to like start arguing with me or do anything. I left. Okay. And then like a couple days later, she called me and was like, "You're smart, because I probably would have stayed and just dealt with it." Well, I would have just dealt with the disrespect or the the drama of him, I would have just dealt with it. And I said, yeah, I don't do that. And I was like, yeah, I didn't want to have a whole bad night because of him. Ladies, I was so happy I left. Me and my homeboy from college, we ended up going out to eat. We chilled out and he took me home. It was a very good night for me because I realized my boundaries. I realized my self-worth. And I realized I did not want to be around some guy I just met that was already giving me very bad vibes. That was already not being a gentleman toward me when he specifically asked my friend to ask me to do a blind double date. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, nah, this is not for me. And I got the hell on. I suggest if you're in those situations and you get that gut feeling like something's off, don't try to figure it out right there. Just leave and get to a safe place. Don't try to figure it out. But I'm glad Kayla Horn is doing better. Exoticals, let me know how you feel about this story. Kayla was 18. She was a budding hairstylist. She is a budding hairstylist. And she's recovering right now in the hospital. Tell me what you feel in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, ladies.